Hello. Today I'm going to inform you on a couple of stories. But these stories, they're stories you all know. I'm sure you've all heard of. They're going to be Disney stories. But the Disney stories I'm going to inform you on are not the original Disney stories that you all know today. The stories will be Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, and Peter Pan. Most of you are thinking, but Walt Disney, Disney stories. It's his name. But Walt Disney was not the actual creator of these three stories, along with any of the other stories. First story I'm going to inform you on would be Sleeping Beauty. This was created in the 1600s by Guillaume Battista Basel. And what originally happened was this story was called Sun, Moon, and Talia. The king, of course, had a daughter, just like the normal one. Of course, he had the fortune tellers come. They said, stay away from the splinter. Get the splinter and you'll go into a deep slumber. So she got the splinter. The king put her in this weird mansion in the country. Oh, weird. He had a funeral and everything. Stuck her in the mansion. One random day, King was walking by. His falcon flew into this random window that was open in the mansion. He decided, I'll climb up in there. We'll see what's going on. He didn't see anyone but Talia. So then, as he said, they had their first fruits of love while she was still passed out. He left, forgot all about her. Came back, he remembered her, so he's like, okay, I'll go see her. So he went back, he saw her. Discovered that she had 2 kids who she named Moon and Sun. And so the king's wife, he was married, she found out. She tried to kill the kids and Talia. This whole crazy thing happened, but instead of the king killing the wife instead, he just kind of went off and married Talia himself. And come to find out, Maleficent is, in fact, the king's wife. Hence, why she is always after Sleeping Beauty in the new Disney story. On to our next story will be The Little Mermaid. This one was created by Hans Christian Andersen in the 1800s. There was 6 children in this one, 6 daughters. Once they turned 15, they could rise up to the top of the sea, which The Little Mermaid, as we know, Ariel did. So, of course, in the original one, she went up, there was a ship, she saw the prince, storm rolled around, wrecked the ship, she saved the prince. Well, she wanted to be with the prince bad, just like in The Little Mermaid, but they do not have immortal souls. What they do is they live for 300 years, and then that's it. They don't go to heaven, they don't go to up above, nothing. That's it. 300 years, they're done. But they said if you can get a human to love you as much as you love the human, then you can live with them forever. You can pass on, go wherever, you can live with them. So she swam, found the sea witch, as we know Ursula, and she said in order for her to turn human, she had to give up her voice. But the only difference in this one is the sea witch cut off her tongue. Little Mermaid had no tongue. And she also told her that transforming to a tail to the legs, it would be like a sword literally like just shoving through her. It would hurt so bad. She also said that as you are walking, it will feel like you're walking on a bunch of little sharp knives. So not a fun thing, but the Little Mermaid agreed. She went to it. She swam up to the top, found out that if the prince doesn't like her, doesn't marry her, then she pretty much turns into sea foam and dies. But she accepted the challenge anyways, tried to go to the prince. She was able to stay with the prince, kind of like in the original one, they all stayed together. But the prince loved the one who he thought saved him, which she didn't have a tongue. She couldn't tell him that she's the one who saved him, so he didn't know. But one day his parents wanted him to go meet this princess, and he agreed. He thought she was the one who saved him. So naturally he went off and married her. He went off and married the princess. The Little Mermaid was devastated. Her heart was broken. She knew she was going to die here soon. But her sisters swam up to the top and told the Little Mermaid that they gave their hair to the sea witch so she could live until morning. The only thing she had to do was to kill the prince by the morning, and then she would live in the sea with the rest of them for the rest of her 300 years like nothing had happened. The Little Mermaid tried, but she could not succeed in this. So she threw herself into the sea, turned into sea foam, but she saw these weird white floating figures coming, and she's like, where am I? The people had told her she had joined the Daughters of the Air, which they'd live 300 years as kind of ghost, I guess you could say. And then once that 300 years passed, they could go into the kingdom of heavens. But the trick is you'll enter houses. For any house you go into where the kids deserve loved, they were good, they deserve their parents' love, a day will be taken off of your sentence, of their 300 years. But in the houses you go into where the kids were bad and they destroyed everything and they were awful, you will cry. And for every tear that is shed, a day will add on to your sentence. So this is Little Mermaid's now life. Lastly, we'll go to Peter Pan. Peter Pan was created by J.M. Barrie in the 1900s. It was originally called Peter and Wendy. What he would do is, of course, he would go into the kids' windows. He would basically take these kids and have them fly off with him. And then he'd have them go through very dangerous things, almost dangerous enough to where a lot of them would die. But some of them would break the most important rule, which is never grow up. If they did, he would thin them out, basically killing these kids as they were growing up. Of course, he found Wendy, and she almost died by Toodles, one of the Lost Boys, because she got shot with a bow and arrow. But that was only because Tink wanted her dead. But come to find out, they were looking for a mom. Wendy had went home. She grew up, went home. She had adopted all the Lost Boys, even had a daughter of her own, which Peter Pan did come, and he took her daughter and went off and did the same thing. So after that, Wendy's daughter grew up, left, went home, had a daughter of her own, which Peter Pan continued the same thing with that daughter and that daughter's daughter. It's an ongoing process. He takes their daughters, do whatever, takes another daughter. Creepy thing. But fun fact, Captain Hook, in fact, was the only Lost Boy who survived Peter Pan, which is why he is after Peter Pan in Walt Disney stories. So much for me getting that Peter Pan tattoo. But today, for the recap, we found out that Sleeping Beauty, in fact, never did get that kiss that she wanted to wake her up. It was by the birth of having two kids. We found out the Little Mermaid did not get her prince. She got her tongue cut off and died in the very end. And we found out that Peter Pan was not very nice. He kidnapped kids, killed them, and then kind of kidnapped more kids in the ongoing process by himself. What a way for little kids' stories, I guess you could say. Thank you.